I'm George from NBI Hockey.
I'm Jack from Puck Analytics.
And I'm Jonah from Puck Analysis.
So we joked at the end of last episode that Jeff was getting kicked off because he used plus minus in a tweet, and we went through with that. So welcome Jonah to the show. He's our new co-host.
Yeah, thank you.
No, Jeff decided that going to the Nashville Predators game was more important than the podcast, so we have a fill-in for this week, which is fun. So yeah, I guess we can jump right into things and talk about the Tim Peele situation. So if you guys are living under a rock, first of all, this happened literally like 10 minutes after we recorded last week's episode, which was annoying.
Naturally, of course.
Yeah. But basically he was caught on a hot mic talking about how he called a soft penalty on Nashville to kind of even out the game. And people were appalled by this, mainly because everybody hates Tim Peele already. So I guess we can kind of jump into everybody's initial reaction to that and just kind of go from there.
For starters, I knew that like people would overreact about it. Like, I guess it's a big deal, but like acting like we don't see makeup calls a daily or a game, be ignorant, because obviously create games and just more even games, and calling penalties works for that. I mean, I think you should call by the book, but it's definitely what happens, not than when you are running a business like the NHL.
Yeah, when I think people are overreacting a bit too. I think it happens like pretty much most games. Just this time, he just got caught, so now he had to deal with all the repercussions, and now he can't ref another game. But I think he's still getting a pension from the league, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, he is. It was kind of funny. It's basically like they just put him into early retirement because he was retiring in like 3 weeks anyway. So
yeah, he's gonna retire in April.
Like, I think a lot of this comes down to the fact that nobody likes Tim Peele, and he's his total career Stanley Cup Finals officiating appearances is at 0 for a reason. And I think if this was like Wes McCauley that this happened to, I don't think we see the same result. And that's probably part of the reaction. But I mean, if you were shocked by what Tim Peele said, you really haven't been paying attention to the NHL. Like, makeup calls have been a part of the league basically forever, to the point that if teams take like 2 penalties early in a game, they'll like play extremely aggressive, knowing that the next penalty is like almost never going to be called on them. And you see this a lot where teams that take the most penalties in the league, it's like a linear pattern that they also are given the most penalties. Like they'll also get the most power plays. So like you can go down the list and it's almost like identical with the most penalties taken, most penalties or most power plays gotten, and it's been like this forever. And I just don't see. I think the biggest issue here was Tim Peele sucks, and he just got caught on a hot mic, and the NHL was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. He's retiring in a month anyway. We'll just dump him.
I think I don't remember exactly who it was, but I think Kolyakovo or someone commented like on like some Instagram post saying like, if you guys don't realize this stuff happens all the time, he's like, you guys just don't know.
I think he commented that on Puck Empire's post. Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No, I mean, it's something that's like, and I mean, it's the same thing too. It's like in the third period of a tie game, the refs are putting their whistles away. They're not calling the rule book anymore. It doesn't matter. Like there's not going to be a penalty call during that time. And these are just things that happen in the NHL all the time. And we don't see this in other leagues. Like in the NFL, it's not like, oh, well, that team got 3 holding penalties. It's time for us to give it to the other team. Like that doesn't happen. And it's like this individual thing for the NHL where for some reason they have to even out games. And whether that's just to artificially create a close environment or what, it's been an issue. I don't think they're going to solve it. And like, I understand it from a marketing perspective, because a 3-0 like boring game isn't going to get ratings, but a 6-5 game will. And I don't know. The NHL officiating is so random most nights, and people are so accustomed to it now. If their team gets like 5 penalties and the other team gets 1, people will blame the refs for being biased. It's just there's no middle ground here, I think, and I really don't see the NHL changing. I think the funniest part of this was the statement from Colin Campbell talking about like integrity with officiating when like 3 years ago he was blasting officials for calling too many penalties on his son, which is just like just the hilarity in that really got to me. But yeah, again, I don't think if this wasn't Tim Peele, I don't think we see the same reaction from the NHL. Okay, so we had our first major trade, I guess, in the NHL with Eric Staal going to Montreal. So I guess we can just kind of touch on what our thoughts are on that deal and kind of who won it.
My thoughts are that it was good for Montreal to load up on him. I don't know exactly where he'll fit in the lineup. Maybe second line as a wing, third line center. But the real winner of the trade is obviously him because he's not on the dumpster fire anymore. And he actually gets a chance to compete maybe for something in the playoffs. But I don't know how far Montreal will make it ultimately.
If you can get Eric Staal in your third line, I think that's definitely a win for both Montreal and himself. And Buffalo is probably one of the worst drafting teams we've seen. So I don't do much for them. Good trade for Montreal.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think basically Buffalo like just paid him for. I think they got like I think it was a fourth they got back or something, third or fourth. It was
like a third and a fifth or something.
Something like that. Yeah. So they basically just paid for that with like the $3 million of Eric Stahl's contract. So I mean obviously like they thought they were going to be a lot better. So it kind of sucks for them, but at this point like that's not the worst thing they could have got. And for Montreal, like just getting the depth, especially with the young centers they have going into the playoffs, I think it's just kind of a safety net to have them behind like Suzuki and Kotkaniemi, and they can basically just rotate 4 centers at this point. So I think I like the fit for the Canadians. Obviously, him getting into a new system is good, and I think one of the quotes that I saw from him was he was just like he had like goosebumps driving to the Canadian border, which. I mean, obviously, he made it sound like because he was, going to the Canadians, but I think a lot of that had to do with just getting out of Buffalo. So I think that was probably one of my favorite quotes about the whole thing.
Oh yeah, he did go for a third and a fifth.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking on Buffalo, another one of the guys that I think is very likely to move is Taylor Hall, and we kind of touched on Hall's value a couple episodes ago, but especially. With Jonah here, it might be interesting to kind of see what your opinion is on his overall value and where you think a good fit is.
I think he still has still has more to give. He's still talented. He still could make an impact in the right situation. I know there's lots of rumors of him going to Toronto. Maybe it would be a good fit, but Toronto's been having some trouble finishing, and he's not really been the best finisher. I think he's only had like a couple above average finishing seasons, and I think that was like his MVP year, one of them at least. And I don't know, Toronto's like people are thinking that they keep getting goalied like every game because if it's every game, it shows that there's something not right with your finishing. I don't know if Taylor Hall is going to help that or not.
I think the Leafs would be an interesting fit for him. The salary Buffalo.
I would still try. I would still be okay.
And the Leafs didn't give up more than like a set. How much do you think the Leafs would have to give up to acquire someone like that, though?
I saw his price was rumored to be like a second, and like maybe a prospect. I don't know if they can get a first for him, but I think maybe
give up a first for him.
I think probably like a second, and like there's a bunch of prospects that we could give up, but
yeah, just pick like any B+ prospect from the Leafs, basically.
Yeah.
Toronto Toronto has a lot of really good prospects at this point.
Yeah, I think
We have the assets, yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah, 100, especially with how low his value is right now. I mean, I would like to point out, I think I was the one who I'll take credit at least for starting the Taylor Hall to Toronto rumor like a month ago on this podcast. So, but I do think it's a good fit. I think if they really wanted to go all in, the potential that Taylor Hall could bring to the Leafs is far higher than somebody like Raquel or Palmieri, who they've also been like rumored to be on. So like if they really and like value wise, honestly, I don't think it's much different at this point. So if they can make the salary work, I still really like the fit with Taylor Hall in Toronto, and I feel like a lot of those finishing issues could go away if you throw them in a line with like Matthews and Marner. I think that might solve a lot of those problems.
I think they would probably play him with Tavares and Nylander to try that at least first.
Yeah, even that, like, that's going to be better than basically anything he's had since Edmonton. So I think that might just solve a lot of the issues. So I guess one of the other interesting things happening in the NHL right now is just the lack of, I guess, playoff race. It seems like all but one division is pretty well locked up for the most part. I mean, Canada, I think Dom had the entire Canadian division at like 90% with the 4 teams that are in right now. That being Winnipeg, Toronto, Edmonton, and Montreal. And the other 3 divisions, we seem to at least have like 3 teams on lock, like Tampa Bay, Carolina, Florida, in the Central, and then it seems like Washington and the Islanders are pretty well locked up in the East, and it's a bit tighter there. But even Pittsburgh seems to be more or less there, and then obviously Vegas, Colorado, Minnesota, and St. Louis seem pretty solid in the West. So. How do we think the last like month of the season is going to go here? It's just going to kind of be like really boring hockey, fighting for playoff position at this point, or is there like besides the Central where you have Nashville, Chicago, and Columbus and Dallas fighting for a chance to get blown out by Tampa in the first round? Like, where do we do? Is it just going to be kind of a boring month for the end of the year?
Possibly.
I think it will be pretty boring. Yeah. I don't see much more movement in any of the standings. Maybe, like you said, the one division with Nashville making a bit of a push. But it'll be a boring first month because you'll just have teams in the top fighting to have, I guess, home ice advantage. But that'll be about it, I think.
Yeah, I think the main race that people are going to be looking for is Nashville versus Chicago. But I don't know much. I don't know about much else. It looks pretty well. I don't think Arizona's going to sneak in, but they're only like 1 point out.
Yeah, and I mean you also have Philly, who's like I guess tail spinning right now, but they're fairly close to the Bruins. But I'd still give the edge to Boston in that race. But I guess you mentioned you mentioned home ice advantage being a thing, and that brings up an interesting point, especially with the Canadian division, because for the Final Four, it seems overly likely, unless things really change in Canada, that whoever comes out of that division is going to be playing in a neutral home rink in the States, and I think that it's something that isn't really getting brought up, and I know they brought it up on Puck Soup last week, but it's like in a Stanley Cup final situation, if you're playing somewhere like Vegas, who might have like pretty close to full capacity by that point, and you're playing the first 2 games there, and then all of a sudden you're going to like Chicago for the Leafs to play a home game, and there's nobody in the building. I think that could be a really big disadvantage for whoever comes out of Canada, and nobody's really bringing it up. I think that could be a huge impact. Do you guys feel the same way, or what do you think the situation is? Like, how do you think the NHL could kind of remedy that?
I don't know how much they're going to be able to remedy that. I don't know. I guess maybe, just like the fake noise, fake fans, but that's not like it's not close to the real thing.
No, I don't think it has a huge impact on how the teams play the games, but I guess the momentum in a building and stuff. If you score that close, like 1 goal behind from like a 2-0 to a 2-1. Can be pretty big to hear all your fans have your back, and it's just a big momentum thing, I guess. but I'm not sure how much it'll affect the overall play.
Yeah, I mean, I know at least in Canada, they're getting close to getting like a big shipment of vaccines, I think. I don't know, I'm not huge following the news or anything, so who knows, in a couple months Canada could introduce fans in the building, and then maybe they clear travel for at least the NHL, at least for like business, without having to quarantine if the players are, because I know Tampa Bay is starting to go through their vaccines and stuff too. So like I think there's a small percent chance that whoever comes out of Canada hosts their own games, but even I think it's a lot more likely that they're just going to play a neutral game in the States. And obviously the NHL isn't going to turn down Stanley Cup final ticket revenue for 3 of the 4 teams in the finals. So it's an interesting situation that I don't think has been brought up really, and could just kind of be a thing in a couple months where we're just saying, oh, that's a situation that we never thought about. And the NHL obviously cleared the 7-day quarantine for players instead of 14. So that was a step in the right direction, and maybe we get to a point in a couple months where there isn't a quarantine. But as of now, I just think it's an interesting situation. I guess the last piece of news before we get into our quiz for today was Shayne Gostisbehere being placed on waivers, as well as Nick Holden. But Gostisbehere, definitely the biggest name, and there's been a lot of names, like good players, who have been placed on waivers this year, mainly because of the fact that no team has any cap space. I guess as of now he hasn't been claimed, but we'll find out, I guess, the middle of the day tomorrow. What do you think the odds are that he gets claimed in the next couple of hours?
I don't know if it's gonna actually happen. He's making like $4.5 million for like 3 more years. I think if teams are trying to get someone like him, they'd probably try to trade, because then they can get rid of some salary as well. And he's been having a pretty good season, but I doubt he gets claimed. Oh, and also a fun fact: apparently he only has like 3 primary assists since over a year.
I doubt he gets claimed off waivers. I think definitely what Jonas said, that he'll be involved in a trade, because a team's going to want to clear that salary. They're not going to want to take him on for 4.5 for the next 3 years if they don't get rid of anything.
Yeah, well, that's what happened with Galchenyuk in Toronto, and another big factor in that is, although I think this would be a lot less likely of a situation than what happened with Toronto, but if somebody trades for him after he clears waivers, he wouldn't have to clear waivers again this year. And that's one of the reasons why the Leafs decided to trade for Galchenyuk, because they could just they could just toss him to the taxi squad or the AHL whenever, and he wouldn't have to clear, which could be a big thing, especially if they are going to be acquiring other players. So I think we could see the same thing with Gostisbehere, as well as Philly potentially having to eat salary. But yeah, I don't think he gets claimed at all. I think the only team that really has the cap, there's like 2 or 3 teams that have the cap space, and they're all terrible. So I don't see them making a move like that. Although in a trade, I think a team like the Panthers could be interesting, especially with the Ekblad injury. But and I do think there is suitors for him out there, but just not on waivers.
The Flyers system is just terrible for him. AV hates that offensive defenseman style.
As soon as AV got hired, it seems like Gostisbehere's career just ended.
Yeah.
His offensive game seems to diminish.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Talking Hockey that posted on his story, and it was Gostisbehere's like WAR graph, and like it just died after AV was hired. Which, of course, it's not a player that he likes, and we've seen that his numbers have diminished. So I guess in the same theme as the trade deadline, today's quiz is based on the trade deadline, and because we had three Canadians here, I decided to base this quiz off of TSN's Bar Down quizzes, and obviously none of the American viewers know what I'm talking about, but basically how this is going to work is you guys are going to work as a team, and I have 15 questions here, and we're going to go through them. There is 2 like bonus questions in between that can give you an extra life, and there's like a final boss question at the end, very similar to the bar down quizzes, and they're all based around the trade deadline. You guys get 3 strikes, and hopefully you guys can make it through the whole quiz. And if you do, you win. And if you don't, then I win. Simple as that. So yeah, you guys can work together, obviously, and we'll go through them. Some of them are multiple choice, some aren't. Some are true and false. Whatever. It's a quiz. So hopefully you guys know your trade deadline history.
Yeah, no, I don't think so, but we'll see where this gets us.
I think I'm good with the last couple of years, but not too much later than that.
Well,
Yeah.
good thing a lot of these questions are based in the 90s.
Oh, boy.
All right.
So nice to us.
All right. So here we go. Question number 1 is this. So Marian Hossa was traded from Atlanta to Pittsburgh at the deadline in 2008. Which highly regarded prospect was sent back to the Thrashers in the deal? So I have 4 options here for you. It is either Angelo Esposito, Brian Straight, Simone Dupre, or Daniel Carcillo. You guys can talk amongst yourselves.
Do you have any ideas of who you think it might be?
Not really. Not really.
I feel like Dupre is like a good. I feel like I don't know if he was ever highly like a highly touted prospect, but I remember like him being linked to them, but I really don't know.
Remember, this is going back to Atlanta in the trade.
I think I'm gonna wait. So what were the options again?
Angelo Esposito, Brian Straight, Simone Dupre, or Daniel Carcillo.
I feel like it's someone I've never heard of, so I bet it's gonna be. I'll just guess, and I think I'll say Esposito.
All right, do you guys both want to go with that answer?
Yeah, let's go with it.
That is correct. It is Angelo Esposito.
Good
I think he was
stuff.
Phil Esposito's son or something. He was super highly regarded. He never played an NHL game.
I never heard of him, so that's why I just chose him.
He was one of the biggest. He was drafted in the first round by the Penguins. Super highly regarded out of junior, and never played a single game in the NHL. Traded for Marian Hossa. Yeah. All right, so you guys got one right. Good, congratulations.
Let's go.
Question 2. The Philip Forsberg for Martin Erat trade is infamous as one of the worst deadline moves ever made. But who was the other player Washington got in this trade? Was it either Matthew Halischuk, Bobby Butler, Michael Latta, or Scott Hannon?
Oh, I think I know. I'm pretty sure it's Michael.
Sorry, I got a call there. Yeah, it's. Who did you say? Who do you think it is?
Michael Latta. I'm pretty sure it's him.
Yep, it's him.
Yeah, that is correct. It is Michael Latta. You guys are 2 for 2. All right, there you go.
We're so good at this.
All right, here you go. True or false? Since the salary cap era began, only one team has won the Stanley Cup without making a move on deadline day.
Okay, let's think about this.
Only one team has won the Stanley Cup
without making a trade at the deadline. Since like 2005, 2006.
I bet that's false, but what do you think, Jack?
I think it's probably false, but I mean, like you got to think about Chicago and how they won 3 cups. Maybe they didn't trade for anyone in some of those, but in one of those. But I don't know. I feel like false would just makes more sense because most teams try to add at least someone.
Is that your final answer? False?
Yeah, sure. Why
not? That is your first strike. The only team to win the cup without making a move at the deadline was the St. Louis Blues in 2018-2019.
Really?
Damn.
No trade, even in like the week before. Like the last trade they made was like a month and a half before the season. It was like some AHL depth move. So there you go.
Ooh.
St. Louis Blues. So you guys have 2 strikes, but you still have the 2 bonus questions coming up. So still there. Question 4 of 15. So not doing too bad. All right. Who is the only player to be traded 4 different times on deadline day? So not like in one deadline, but just overall. There's one player who's been traded 4 times. Is it Thomas Vanek, Alan May, Lee Stepniak, or Paul Stastny?
Oh, God.
feel like it's Vanek, but I don't know if that's true. But I'm not gonna go with that as a final answer yet.
Trying to think.
Tom-
What Lee Stepniak was the last option?
It was Thomas Vanek, Alan May, Lee Stepniak, or Paul Stastny. 4 times they were traded at the deadline.
Alan May. I've never heard of that guy.
I don't know. What are you thinking?
I don't know if it's Vanek or Stepniak. I think it might be one of those guys. The other guys, May or who was the other guy?
Paul Stastny.
Stastny, yeah.
Oh, I don't know if it was Stasny.
4 times they were traded. 4 different times.
Stastny was traded. I don't know if he was all traded on deadline day, but he went from what? St. Louis to no, that was before. I don't know.
I think he signed with. He went from St. Louis. I think he did go from St. Louis to Winnipeg. I'm pretty sure.
And then he went to the Knights.
Yeah, but he signed. He signed there.
Yeah,
and then.
Just throw it in. Just throw it in.
Who's your guess? You throw it.
Thomas Vanek, Alan May, Lee Stepniak, Paul Stastny.
Lee Stepniak.
That is incorrect.
Yeah.
The answer is Alan May. I thought I made that fairly obvious with the one random name in the list, but Vanek and Stepniak were both traded 3 times at the deadline, and Paul Stastny was traded once from St. Louis to Winnipeg. So there you go. Anyway, you guys have gotten to the bonus question, which you basically need to get because you only have 1 life left. So you guys have 30 seconds to answer this. You only can throw out 1 name, so you guys have to decide fairly quickly on which name that's going to be. Don't overthink this question. That's the advice I'll give you.
Okay.
So which GM has made the most deadline moves in their career? And your timer starts now.
I feel like, is it Jim Rutherford or Doug Wilson?
I was thinking Jim Rutherford right away.
Okay, you want to go with that then?
Sure, why not?
Okay, we'll go with Rutherford.
Jim Rutherford is incorrect. You don't lose a strike for that, but you don't get your bonus. Again, it's the longest-serving GM in the NHL, David Poile. Has made the most moves on deadline day.
Nashville's just never been like super good except for that.
Yeah, it's all like little minor moves that he's made, but I guess like 20 some years. Obviously, Jeff isn't here to answer that question, so I'll give you guys a break on that one.
Jeff probably would have got it wrong anyways.
All right, so 1 strike left. We'll go through the whole quiz anyway, even if you guys don't make it, because why not?
Yeah, we're bad at this.
But you have 1 strike. There is 1 more bonus question coming up. You guys need to kill this here from here on out. So here we go. On deadline day in 2000, the Colorado Avalanche traded for future Hall of Fame defenseman Ray Bourque. Name 1 of the 4 assets that they gave up. Again, don't overthink this one.
They gave up a pick. Can I say that?
That would be considered an asset, yes.
That they gave up a first-round pick. No.
Is that what you're going with?
You want to go with that?
Sure.
Yes, they did give up a first-round pick in the trade. Brian Ralston, Martin Grainer, and Sammy Paulson were the other 3 assets.
I would have got all those.
Yeah.
Knock that one out of the park.
But yeah, the first-round pick was definitely the easiest answer out of those ones. All right, so a follow-up question to that, question number 7. True or false? The Avalanche won the Stanley Cup the same year they traded for Bourque.
Did they win in 2000?
I don't think so. Let me think.
I feel like the Devils won that year. I think the Devils won that year. And then
Yeah, I think they did. I think they did. I also recall.
This guy's
We'll
going to say false.
False.
That is
Yeah.
correct. The Ray Bork was contemplating retirement, and they made it to the third round of the playoffs that year, and Joe Sakic convinced them to come back for one more season, and then they won in 01. And, of course, the probably the most iconic Stanley Cup, I guess, the most iconic Stanley Cup getting, I don't know what the word is for it, moment where Joe Sakic handed Ray Bork the cup happened in 2001.
Gotta love Burnaby Joe there.
Yeah, it was a great moment. All right, so riding on a two question win streak here.
Oh yeah.
So here we go. In 1998, the Tampa Bay Lightning traded Brian Marchand, David Shaw, and a first-round pick swap with the San Jose Sharks in exchange for Andrei Nazarov. Which player did the Lightning pick with the pick swap that they received? And I'll give you 4 options here. The options are Brad Richards, Vincent Lecavalier, Dan Boyle, or Martin St. Louis.
You cut out for a bit for me.
It's a first-round pick.
What were the options there?
Brad Richards, Vincent Lecavalier, Dan Boyle, or Martin St. Louis.
It's not St. Louis. He wasn't drafted. In 98?
1998 was the draft, yes.
I think it was Lecavalier. I'm pretty sure.
That was Cavia's draft. Draft. He went first overall. I don't know if that's the pick they gave up, but I think that's the.
I think it's him.
That's what you're going with?
Yeah.
Safe option, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct. It is Vincent Lecavalier. They also, in that same trade deadline, traded for the pick that they drafted Brad Richards with, but that was like a 4th-round pick. So a really good trade deadline for the Lightning that year. Helped lead them to a cup in 2004. And yes, they did not draft Martin St. Louis. He signed a PTO with Calgary and then was released. All right, so 3 in a row. You guys are halfway to tying the Buffalo Sabres in wins. On March 7th, 1988, the St. Louis Blues acquired Brett Hull from what team at the trade deadline? There's no options here.
All right, forget. Whoops.
Brett Hull from what team?
Sorry about that.
Do you need me to repeat the question?
I had to leave for a second.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I'll repeat the question. So on March 7th, 1988, the St. Louis Blues acquired Brett Hull from what team via trade at the deadline?
98?
1988.
I'm trying to think.
It was a player, you said?
No, just what team did they trade with that gave them Brett Hull?
I don't know what team he would have played on then.
I think I saw this a while ago. I'm trying to remember. I just can't. Oh, I think it's Calgary, isn't it?
Is that what you're going to go with?
Yeah, let's go with it.
Yes, it is the Calgary Flames.
Oh, God.
There you go. Pulled it out.
Good stuff.
There you go. 4 in a row. And now you guys have hit the bonus question. So here you go. This one's going to take me a bit of time to verify because it's just there's a lot of options here. But you guys have 45 seconds to let me pull up my timer here real quick. 45 seconds to name me 4 players that were traded at the deadline in 2019-2020.
Okay.
It has to be on deadline, by the way, not like the day before.
Damn it. So I think wasn't Athanasiou, I'm pretty sure.
That is one of them. Yep. 3 more.
Damn, what was?
Just throw out names. There isn't. I'm not going to give you strikes
sorry,
for
my
all
audio
answers.
keeps cutting out.
That's all right.
Okay. What? Oh, damn it.
20 seconds.
Oh, my.
You got 1 of 4. That's far.
Was Ilya Kovalchuk?
That was the day before, so that would be incorrect.
Uh,
All right, that's
Patrick
where
Marlowe?
Patrick Marlowe. Yes.
The day before.
No, that was all right. But that's like a minute, so unfortunately, you guys will not get the bonus here. A couple of the other notable names that you guys could have tossed out: Vladislav Nemestikov, John Gabriel Pageau, Vincent Trocheck, Eric Howla, Nate
I
Thompson.
just can't think in the moment.
Wayne Simmons was another one. Sam Gagne, Tyler Ennis, Derek Forbert. I don't know. There's a whole bunch. There wasn't any big names, though, which is why that question was fun. On March 4th, 1991, the Pittsburgh Penguins made a trade to acquire 2 key players that helped them win back-to-back Stanley Cups. Name one of those 2 players.
1991.
Like these are like key cogs in both their Stanley Cup wins. So it's not like third-line players. These are like one's a Hall of Famer and one's like, I guess not really a Hall of Famer, but
Mark Recchi, was he traded then? Or Recchi?
is that what you guys are gonna go with?
No. Oh god. Didn't I feel like
All right, I'll toss this one because I like you guys. The trade was between the Penguins and the Hartford Whalers.
Ron Francis.
Ron Francis is correct.
I was gonna say if it was him.
It was Ron Francis and Ulf Samuelsson were the 2 players that they acquired.
Oh.
That deadline. But yeah, I'll give you that. You guys still alive.
Ron Francis.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So question number 12. Leading up to the deadline in 2015, I think this trade happened like 3 days before. Jaromir Jagr was traded from what team and to whom? So who are the 2 teams involved in the 2015 Jaromir Jagr? 2015. Fun fact: I actually broke this news to a sports room at CBC when it happened. I was there for like a day like internship thing, and I was the one who broke the news to them, which was really cool. But yeah, 2015, Jaromir Jagr was traded from whom to what team?
Was he traded to Florida?
Florida is the team he was traded to, yes. And who traded him?
Damn, that's what I'm trying to remember.
The Devils?
That is correct. It's the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah. I remember I went to a game in Florida in like 2015. And he hit some sort of milestone. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like a goal milestone or something, but it was really fun still, but there's like no one there, of course.
That was the same day of the infamous Nathan Horton and David Clarkson swap between Toronto and Columbus as well.
Okay, great.
All right.
So, yeah.
David Clarkson. Gotta love it.
Yeah. All right. Technically 2 more questions because you guys aren't going to get the final boss, but let's keep going here.
Whatever you gotta say.
In 2012, the LA Kings traded Jack Johnson and a first-round pick for this player who eventually helped them win the Stanley Cup.
That was definitely Vincent Carter. Or, no, Jeff Carter, sorry. Jesus
Noted
Christ.
basketball player, Vince Carter. Yes, Jeff Carter is the correct answer.
Okay, fun fact. The Flyers got Coots and Voracek.
Didn't they get Voracek? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Jeff Carter, 39 games.
Yeah.
I didn't know they got Coots out of it. I knew the Voracek part.
That was the first round pick that they gave up, and then they gave up Jeff Carter for Jack Johnson.
Classic. And then his family stole his money. So.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him.
Poor guy. That does suck. But still, it's just. That was also the same year that Columbus traded Marion Gaborik to LA, so that whole experiment trying to build around Rick Nash really didn't work out for them that year.
Screwed up.
All right, one more question, then you're at the final boss. So here we go. In 1996, the Vancouver Canucks and Pittsburgh Penguins pulled off a trade, sending Marcus Naslund to Vancouver. Which player did the Penguins get in return? Was it Peter Nedved? They didn't get Peter Nedved is the first option. Option B is they didn't get a player, just a draft pick. Option C is Tim Hunter, and option D is Alec Stiljanov.
I feel like I should know this.
Yeah, you should. It's franchise point leader Marcus Naslund up until a couple years ago.
What were the options again?
Peter Nedved, Tim Hunter, just a pick, or Alex Stojanov.
It's Alex Storjanov or whatever.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you guys wheeled your way to the final boss. So here we go.
We're getting this. Not in this one.
All right. Fine. Again, this question's supposed to be insanely difficult and just like impossible. So I just want to point that out. So here we go. The final question. Ben Bishop has been traded 3 times, either on deadline day or in the week leading up to it. Name the 4 teams involved in the 3 deals and all 6 assets that Ben Bishop has been traded for.
I know he was traded for like some mid-round pick of some sort.
Second round pick he was traded for.
Second round pick is one of the 6, yes.
I know he was traded from Ottawa to Tampa once.
Yeah, that's 2 of the Ottawa and Tampa Bay are definitely 2 of the teams involved.
LA to Dallas.
LA is involved. Dallas was not.
Didn't he go from the Lightning to the Kings?
Yeah.
Yeah, LA, Tampa, and Ottawa, and a second round pick. You got those ones so far.
Oh, St. Louis.
Fifth round pick was an option too, right?
Fifth round pick. No. Yeah, St. Louis is the final team.
Okay.
So you guys got that. Now you just need to get the 5 assets. St. Louis is the 5th round pick is incorrect. So you need 5 more.
Sure?
Yes.
I swear.
I'm sure.
When he went.
He was traded for a 5th, I believe. From his rights were traded from LA to Dallas, I believe, for 5th round pick. In like the summer that year.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 more picks and 3 players.
Did you get? There was a 4th involved.
Yeah,
no?
4th round pick is one of them.
And then was he a part of that the Peter Budaj trade or
Peter Budaj is one of them. Yeah, so there's 2 more players and a pick. And you guys can pull this off.
Oh, Corey Conacher.
Corey Conacher is correct. Yes.
7th round pick.
7th round pick is right. 1 more player. You guys can actually pull this off. It was the trade that sent him, I believe, to Tampa Bay. Is where this player. Oh no. Yeah, I believe it's the trade to Tampa Bay.
I think I got it.
Is it the defenseman?
I think it's Eric Cernak.
It is Eric Cernak. That is right. You guys clear the board. There you go.
That was supposed to be hard there.
Okay.
I remember Cernak was like, I forget what team he was on. I think he was on the Kings, or he was like a Kings prospect or something.
It was something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't write down the exact moves, but
he was right.
Yeah, I think it was the Kings from Tampa Bay to LA.
Budaj trade or whatever.
Yeah. All right, so there you go. You guys surprisingly survived on 1 strike, basically throughout the entire thing.
Easy.
Well, that works sometimes.
All right, so I guess we can wrap things up. Jonah, you're the guest, so you can plug your whatever you want first.
Whoops, I dropped something. So you can find me at Instagram at Puck Analysis. Also, maybe if you want, check out my Twitter. I think Analysis Puck, and you can also look at some charts I made on Tableau if you really want. There's a link in bio.
Well, yeah, it's been great having Jonah on the podcast. Feel bad that my Wi-Fi has been cutting out throughout it, and I haven't been able to talk, but
it's all good.
I always keep it short and sweet, so my name's Jack. You can find me at Puck Analytics on Instagram.
There you go. Finally through the Instagram after 7 episodes.
I threw it in last time. Okay, give me credit here.
And of course, you guys can find me Nothing But Iron 1 on Twitter and NBA Hockey on Instagram. Thanks again for Jonah for filling in for Jeff.
Oh yeah.
And we'll probably, if somebody else calls in sick, maybe we'll have you back. So
maybe I could be a guest appearance at some point. Maybe.
Yeah, now you're
for sure.
Now you're definitely pushing your luck, but that's okay. All right, thank you guys for listening. Once again, follow our Instagram at Troubleshift Pod on Instagram. We're almost at 100 followers. So that'd be great if we can get to 100 followers.
2 away.
And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.